Dr. B, pediatric neuropsychologist.
And I'm Catherine Mukes, licensed professional counselor. And welcome to Let's Talk.
Today we're going to be talking about the holiday season, which is upon us.
Yes, it is. And it came way too fast, Dr. B, way too fast.
It absolutely did. And we're going to be talking about some of the stressors that can be related to the holiday season and ways to cope with some of those stressors today.
Right. So we know, the holidays are here and we're making plans, many of us. What are we going to do? Dare I say the F word? Family's going to be around. And the holidays is an exciting time for many of us, but it can also be a very stressful time because it takes us out of our kind of normal daily functioning, because now we're starting to consider things and events and what we're going to do and planning and all these other pieces. And for some people, this is also just a tough time in general. Some people are experiencing dealing with holidays without family members. So maybe they've had a loss, or maybe there's just some disruption in the family system and people aren't together anymore like maybe they used to be. And so today we just want to talk a little bit about how to get through some of those times. We're going to give you just a few tips to help hopefully ease the stress and the pressure of the holiday season.
One of the ways that will probably help to alleviate some of the stress is being planful, having a kind of clear ideas about how many people are going to be attending your party, who's going to be attending, how long it's going to take for you to prepare things for events. The more planning, the less stress that you will have, because you will be able to pace yourself. And if you plan accordingly and allow yourself enough time for hiccups to happen, little bumps in the road for you to correct.
Right. And the thing about planning is having a kind of framework for what things need to happen, how things need to be taken care of. Because the fact is, we don't have absolute control over everything. And so being able to understand what things you can control, being able to put those things into place and let everything else kind of fall where it may. Because, again, that F word, you just never know what's going to go down.
That's true. Then, in the process of planning things, we also need to understand our limits.
Absolutely.
Because we do have limits. As much as we want to be Superman or Superwoman, reality is we are dealing with a limited amount of time,
Absolutely.
a limited amount of energy,
limited resources.
Correct.
Absolutely.
I mean, and you're still splitting your time. If you're working, you may still have a full-time job. You still have children. You still have a spouse. And on top of this, you're dealing with the added responsibilities that might come along with planning for events or different things for the holiday season. So in the planning, you have to understand your limits, whether that is your financial limits and what you're able to do. Are there some other kind of limitations that you might think of?
Just limits on time, limits of expectations, right? A lot of times, we have, I can't speak for anybody but myself. I know sometimes I have these big ideas about things that I want to have happen, and that's just not going to happen every single time. And so really being able to know when enough is enough, when being able to say no, and no can be your friend, and being able to say, okay, as much as I'd really like to, have every square inch of my house covered in whatever, that's just not, it's not physically possible. It may not be financially possible, and I just may not want to do that. And so the answer is going to have to be no.
No. And maybe you'll say, that sounds like a great idea. Unfortunately, I will not be able to do that this year. Maybe another time. Is another way you can kind of approach saying no. Not right now. Not this year. Try again next time.
And it still may be no then. So, but just really understand, and even your own physicality, right? You know, there's some things like I'm not climbing on the roof. That's just not happening. And so understanding what's really feasible for you. What are your limits? You know, is standing on your feet for 10 hours gonna land you in the hospital for 2 weeks? Then is it really worth it? So really just understanding what your limits are from a financial standpoint, from a physical standpoint, and just even sometimes from a time standpoint as well.
Exactly. And you know, along with this planning and understanding your limits, it's amazing the resources that we have available for us, and a lot of times that can come in the form of support from your spouse, support from other family members, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, children, but you know, we have to put ourselves out there to ask for help.
Absolutely.
And ask for that support when we need it. Some people may be glorious and are able to anticipate things that you need, but for the most part, many people are going to be busy with the hustle and bustle of the season, and therefore, in order for you to get assistance and help, you're going to have to make that known to others.
Absolutely. Asking for help is definitely something that we want you to make sure that because once you've recognized what you've started making your plans, you've assessed what needs to be done, you've determined what your limitations are, being able to ask for help in those things can really alleviate some of that stress and that tension off of you. And along with asking for help, because while we do encourage asking for help from our loved ones for those to get things done, for some people this is a really hard time of the year for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's about loss and not having family around. For some people it's might suffer from seasonal affective disorders, where because the days have gotten shorter and the nights are longer, that we start to go through these emotional trying times. Sometimes we have family members who are maybe getting older and maybe dealing with Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, where maybe I think they call it sunset something, I can't think of the name of it right now, but when it gets darker they may have more confusion or have more of those types of things, and sometimes we just don't know what to do. And while we're trying to go around doing these things and be festive and be in the holiday spirit, we're really dealing with tough times. And so asking for help is definitely, we want to get help from our support systems. But if you're getting to a place to where you're feeling like, you know what, this is overwhelming to a degree that it's never been overwhelming to me before, then it may be a sign that, you know what, maybe this is the time for me to seek some professional help with this as well. Whether that professional help be getting a planner to do your things, or maybe you're having some internal things that are going on that you really need to deal with, to seek professional help from psychologists like Dr. Baruch or Dr. B, or counselors like myself.
Certainly, you know, it's very important that when we think about help, that we're thinking about it in multiple ways, not only with that planning aspect, but just remembering to take care of yourself. Absolutely. From a physical and a mental health standpoint.
Absolutely. So those are just a few of the tips for helping you to cope with this holiday season. Number one, you want to plan ahead as much as you can. Number two, understanding your limitations and honoring yourself in that way. And number three, asking for help. All summed up into one nice little bow is we're saying, make sure you do what you have to do to take care of yourself during this holiday season.
Absolutely. And we want to wish you all a very happy holiday season. And thank you for joining us today. Remember to like the post, to share the post with your family, friends in the world, even your enemies if you have them. I hope you don't.
And don't invite them to your holiday festivities.
Right.
But leave us a comment too if there's things that you want to talk about, if you have questions or concerns. We'd definitely love to hear from you and be able to see what you'd like to see in some of our upcoming videos.
Absolutely. Until next time, take care.
Bye-bye.